Hello and welcome. Tonight we are going to learn about men's fashion, going over fashion fundamentals, all so that you can look your best, of course. Feel comfortable in whatever you're wearing, whether you're as dapper as I am, or whether you prefer a more casual look. And of course, making an impression. The most important part, to some at least. We're going to give a few minutes and wait for people to start rolling in before we officially get started. Once again, this is a pay what you want webinar. All proceeds contribute to make my setup here better. Okay, we'll get improved lighting. Camera quality, of course, is very nice. Get an improved microphone sometime in the future. And always contributing to my wardrobe is always nice. So go ahead and feel free to watch this. Decide what it is worth to you. This should last for about an hour. We're also going to have a Q&A at the very end for those of you who are here live to ask me some questions, whether it's about my own fashion or whether it's about specific fashion tips for you. Some of these questions have already been submitted on Facebook, via DM, via Twitter, etc. So we do have some questions to go over. I plan to answer such questions in a way that they are approachable to everyone while also answering the specific person. So our goal tonight is to give you something to work with, something to improve wherever you are. This should be very approachable for everyone. Whether you're just starting off. Oh yes, Nebros, I am matching the ad indeed. Whether you're looking up to step up what you've already got going on, whether you have some curiosity about one area or another. Now we're going to keep giving another minute or so for people to go ahead and roll in. And I plan to get us started about 6:10 is going to be when we're going to get fully underway. Now, quick shout out to Nebros, who was kind enough to draw up our beautiful advertisement, which I will pull up on screen very briefly, as soon as I'm able to get that up. Most of you have already seen this, because that was how you came here in the first place. Some of you may not have seen it yet. And Nebros, of course, has been kind enough to do all of the art on this channel. She is a lovely artist. She does commission work. If you would like to commission her, please ask in chat or go ahead and feel free to contact me after this webinar. Sky, thank you for bringing in more of the group. It is greatly appreciated. We will be starting in a couple of minutes, officially. So the advertisement that Nebros was kind enough to draw up for us, which I'll pop down here for the moment being, and it'll recap a bit of what our plan is for tonight. Again, this is a pay what you want webinar. Feel free to watch it first, see how much value it is worth to you, and then decide afterwards. If you're here on Twitch normally, subscribing is always nice. Twitch Prime subs are always appreciated. Cheering is always appreciated. If you're coming from outside of Twitch, of course, hopefully you already are aware of a way to pay me either via Facebook or I can provide you with a link later. I will let my chat know there is no active SparkBot tonight, so we do not have any of those functionalities present. So again, our goals for tonight. Looking your best without feeling uncomfortable. I know that's a thing for I know a lot of men hate wearing this collar. It chafes, it rubs, it's too tight, it feels like you're choking on it. Same thing with a tie. Some people feel like they're choking on a tie. Okay? Making an impression, which is my favorite part of fashion. It's always nice to be able to walk into a room and know that you're getting noticed. And of course, also my personal favorite, going hand in hand with making an impression, is knowing that you're the best dressed man in the room. Knowing that you are dressed exactly the way that you want to be. And like Nebro said, we are matching the ad. I decided to... Sorry, the camera is reversed on me here, so I'm having to point the opposite direction of what it looks like for you guys. Nebros, of course, kind enough to draw this lovely image. I decided to match it with this lovely outfit. We will go ahead and knock that image off now. And it looks like it's about time to get started. Okay. Just let me pull up my notes. So we're going to cover a lot of ground tonight. All right. My recommendation for you, find one thing that is easy for you to remember, that you want to implement, that you're excited to change about your own fashion, and apply that. Now, just one thing, he says. If you're an overachiever, go ahead and pick 3. If you're insane, like I am, take notes on all of it. The VOD will remain up on Twitch, and it will probably be put on YouTube later. So you can come back to this, you can revisit it. If you're revisiting this in the future, it's still going to be relevant. I like to make sure the advice I give isn't just about a particular style and a particular season. It's advice that will be good, sound advice that always applies. Okay. Now there are 3 purposes to fashion. 3. Okay. 1, the form or function. Sometimes it's cold outside, you gotta dress warm. Sometimes it's hot outside, you gotta dress cool. Sometimes it's just about being decent enough to go out in public, like if you're making a run to Walmart at 3 a.m. or in the middle of the afternoon. Either one. Okay? It's about what the clothing does for you. Most of us understand that intuitively. I don't have to talk a whole lot about it. Point number 2 is the emotion that comes from wearing certain clothes. Every one of us, hopefully every one of us, has that one outfit, that one shirt, that one jacket, that one tie that makes you look fantastic, that you always get compliments on. Okay? The third thing, of course, is your appearance, how you're perceived by others. We talk a lot about how unfair it is that people judge others based on their appearance, but it's a simple truth of life. A lot of clothing is being worn for other people. Okay? I came to you tonight dressed like this, dressed nice and formally. It makes a good positive impression. I also wore some bold, popping blue that matches my eyes. I look good. Now, I could have came here dressed in, a t-shirt, hoodie, sweatpants, nice and comfortable, but the impression would be worse. I'm keeping an eye on chat, but I'm not going to read as much of chat as I normally would tonight, as this is aimed to be for the future. So I am noticing people there. I am happy to see someone who's referencing some clothes. Let's get back on point. Okay, so there's those 3 purposes. Keep those 3 purposes in mind. The form and function, okay, what the clothes do for you. The emotion the clothing makes you feel, because that's I think that's a critical part that a lot of men forget about. Is it's just like, okay, I need to wear a shirt, I need to throw on a shirt. Is it clean? Okay, good enough. Every piece of clothing in your wardrobe can have that power of, I look good in this, if you work it right. And the third thing, of course, is how your appearance, how you're perceived by others, making sure that you look good in any crowd. Okay. Appearance also goes in with dress code. You don't want to be the guy who shows up at a wedding wearing a t-shirt from your favorite band. Unless, of course, the wedding is for that band, in which case they probably still wanted you dressed up anyway. Okay. Those are 3 purposes. I'm going to give you one. Excuse me. One rule. One rule. If all else fails, always be deliberate. Always have every bit of your appearance be intentional. Your haircut, intentional. Beard or lack of beard, intentional. Colors, intentional. Always be intentional. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you still have your reason for doing that. Is I needed to wear something because I needed to put something on. That's still intentionality. You want to step it up a little bit. You don't want it to just be, oh, this was the only clean shirt I had. You want it to be, this is a clean shirt I had and it looked good. Or this is clothing I know that I look great in. okay? We're going to cover a variety of topics tonight. We're going to talk about how to look your best just on your own. We're going to talk about colors, which is my favorite part. We're going to talk about lines and patterns, briefly, because that's something I find is a little bit more difficult. Then we're going to talk about casual attire, just dressing for day-to-day life. We're going to talk about business or formal attire, looking dapper. And we're going to talk about dressing up and dressing down an outfit, which is something I also really enjoy, and I think it's the thing that will change the most for most of you. Okay? The plan here is to go for about an hour. We're going to see how that goes. Okay? First off, advice for everyone. You are always going to be wearing your face. You're always going to be wearing your hair. You're always going to be wearing any facial hair or lack thereof. And you are always wearing your body shape. Okay? Those are inescapable facts. And sometimes we forget that we always look like us. We think, oh, if I wear a nice enough clothes, I can just kind of cover up the fact that, you know, my eyes are blue. Maybe I can, you know, trick somebody into not noticing that. Maybe I can trick somebody into not noticing that my hair looks like crap. When really, that's the thing, you can do stuff right now to make yourself look better, okay? This is true whether you're male or female. Most of tonight is aimed at men. This is the one section that is aimed at everyone. First thing that you can fix right now is your posture, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and stand up and move back a little bit and demonstrate some of this real quick. We're going to go way back. All right? Now normally I tend to walk about like this. We can hear me nice and clearly? Yes, we can. Okay, perfect. I tend to be about like this. I am slightly slouched, head is slightly forward, okay? Now pardon me, there is debris on my floor right now and it's making it slightly annoying. My posture, of course, looks fine. Some of you, on the other hand, are looking like this. Shoulders hunched forward, head arched forward, not there. Now, if you're me, what I want you to look like, and I say this as a professional ballroom instructor, what I want you to look like is this. Straight spine, chin up, all that good stuff. Most of you don't want to do that. As I see a comment in chat, now I feel attacked. I'm going to break this down nice and easy. You can improve your posture today. A couple of simple tricks. First thing, okay? I'm going to pretend that my hands are my feet, okay? You've got the heel, you've got the ball of the foot, you've got the toes. A lot of us don't think about our balance walking around day to day. We just kind of rest on one leg or the other leg, on the front of the feet, on the heels. The first trick to posture is fixing it from the ground up. Rest your weight on your heels. I'll demonstrate this from a distance again. I'm going to clear out, move a couple of things quick so I can move in here. Okay? We're going to demonstrate this from a distance. If I have my weight on the balls of my feet, you can already see I'm leaning. The chair is in the way. Let's go ahead and step forward off to the side here. Okay, we got this nice line right behind me. That is irritating. Don't mind me, we have recent computer parts still strewn about the room. You can see this nice straight line behind me. Okay? If I'm standing up nice and straight, cheating a little bit to line up with this, my weight on my heels, my head, all in line with that, I'm like this. If my weight is forward on the balls of my feet, you can see, you know, in the nice little corner there, my weight's forward. I'm leaning forward. If I stay leaning forward, you can tell. Okay, so first trick, weight on the heels. Okay. The goal, we'll go ahead and thank you, Ben. The goal is simple. Okay, you have your feet, your weight's on your heels. You want your knees, which we can't see mine perfectly, to be over your heels, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips, head over the shoulders. Okay, that is the goal. That is the way to make your spine straight. Now, how do we fix that whole shoulder hunching thing that's going on? And right now I'm cheating a little bit because I got the vest helping me out to puff up my shoulders. Okay. How do we fix that shoulder puffing? Here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to take your arms, I want you to roll your shoulders a little bit, in with it down. Then I want you to take in the back, pinch your shoulders together. Pinch your shoulders together. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like you're about to grab something low down and pull it back towards you. Okay? Pull your shoulders together and then also pull them down. Okay? It should hurt a little bit. Just a little bit, not much, because you're engaging all those muscle groups. Okay? Then what you want to try to do is release the pinch together so that you're still holding your shoulders down. Okay? If that didn't make sense, it's okay. It's a higher level concept I'm talking about right from the start. It's a dance concept. It's something I wanted to bring to you and make sure I wanted to include in here. Pinch the shoulders together, pinch them down, release the together. And that will keep your shoulders nice and low. That'll keep your shoulders from riding up like this. Nobody wants to see us like this. Nobody wants to see us like this. They want to see us like this. I instinctively will pinch my shoulders together and then immediately release into the down position. Constantly. I do that as a dancer. It's just a force of habit at this point. Okay? I think I have 2 more tricks for posture. I know I'm skipping one here. Let's make sure we hit the last one. Okay? One thing a lot of us don't think about with our posture is our neck. Okay? I see a lot of people walking around with this hunched forward neck that is over the front of their body. Okay? Your spine is meant to be in a relatively straight line. It has some natural curvature to it that I'm just going to ignore for the time being. Spine is meant to be a generally straight line to balance the head perfectly. Okay? I'm a taller man. Some of you are taller men. Shorter men generally don't have this problem. A lot of taller men do, though. Is that we're always looking down all the time. We're always looking down at people. And we like to face people head on. I'm facing you with my face completely turned towards you. If I have my chin up, I look stuck up. I look like I'm probably not the nicest guy, not the friendliest guy. The thing is, as far as the spine is concerned, go ahead and do this with me. Go ahead and stretch your back, stretch your spine, tilt your chin forward, tilt your chin up. Don't tilt your head back. Remember, this is just in the chin. It's just the chin up and down. As you go slowly through that positioning, you can feel a sort of equilibrium of weight. You can feel that when your chin's a little bit up, that's when your head is truly balanced. If I was facing you the way that is balanced for my head right now, this is it. Reason for that, the jaw, empty. We just got our teeth in here, we just got our chin in here. The nose, the nasal cavities, empty. There's not really a whole lot in there. There's some muscles, so on and so forth. The nose, not really a bone, it's just cartilage, okay? All of our weight in the head is back here. It's all that gray matter sitting in there. That's where the weight is. If you went ahead and balanced my head by weight, the center point's somewhere around here. This is pretty far back. That's the spot that you want directly above the spine. Now, of course, if I sat and talked to you like this the whole time, probably think I was a little bit rude. But it is something to think about while you're walking through your house, while you're walking around once in a while, because the more that you have that chin a little bit up, the more you strengthen your neck muscles to hold it up. Shorter people have a really fun time with this, especially short women. Okay, short women have a fun time with this, especially if they're dating taller men, because they always get to crane their chin up to give their man a kiss. Or if you're the shorter man in a relationship with another man, or however else you identify, you get the point. You end up having that good posture, those strong neck muscles, because our neck muscles, when we're just doing this all the time, looking down, they atrophy. The throat's not putting in all the work it needs to. Oh, I know, Nebros. I went ahead and front-loaded this. The posture lesson on its own improves so much of your appearance. Okay? Let's pull my notes back up, going back and forth through things, okay? So we talked about posture overall. We talked about keeping the spine straight. We talked about the chin as well, okay? Your face and your demeanor. All of us have heard the term resting bitch face, RBF. It's where you kind of sit, it's where you're not consciously aware, but somebody's sitting there and they look a little bit angry or like they're about to have, like, about to go off on somebody, that sort of thing. Be conscious and intentional. Be deliberate about your face. Go ahead and look at your face in a mirror. If you happen to work a desk job, especially, one nice little trick, put a mirror at your workspace and take a look at your facial expression throughout the day. Work on your facial expression. Think about your eyes. Right now, we're busy dealing with COVID. Most of us are wearing face masks out and about, which means that the eyes are the ones getting seen. If you smile without it touching the eyes, nobody knows you're smiling right now. If you light your eyes up, people see that and they respect that. It's an important time to be doing that. Okay? Play around with your face in a mirror sometime. Do that little kid childish thing of making goofy faces in a mirror. It'll go a long way. Okay? Grooming. Hair, beard. We're going to go over this very quickly. Most men, I think because hair is such a critical part of personality, most men already have a plan for their hair, already do something intentional with their hair. I trust you to have a general sense of what you are doing with your hair. If you haven't changed up your hairstyle in the last 4 years, try something new, if only briefly. It's always good to revisit, to see what works, to see how you look different, to get the opinion of people around you. People always love a fresh haircut. People always love complimenting a fresh haircut. Okay? Beards, I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the Q&A. There was a specific question. But for now, the simple thing I'm going to say is no neck beard. Okay? There is a line in about the hinge or crease of your neck where everything below that, you want to take it off. Okay? It makes it look nice, clean, deliberate, like I've been saying this entire time. You also want your cheek lines, wherever they fall, to be deliberate. Have a nice solid line in there. Okay? And that's where I'm going to rest beards for now. If you have not tried facial hair yet, I encourage trying facial hair. One more point on facial hair. If you have thought about trying to grow out facial hair, but you haven't yet because either it's going to take you a long time, or you're worried about what people are going to say, or you know it's going to look really awkward before it looks good, here's the secret. Find a 3 or 4 day weekend. Okay? Let's assume that you're going to have a Monday off, because usually it's a Monday that's going to be off. On Wednesday, shave like you normally would. On Thursday, I assume you're working on Monday through Friday. Adapt this as you need to. On Wednesday, shave like you normally would. On Thursday, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to be bothered that 1 day of growth. Maybe 2 or 3 days of growth if your facial hair grows especially slowly. Okay? Friday, you're going to have that 2 days of growth. People are going to notice, but they're not going to comment on it. And because it's a Friday, everyone knows you're exhausted anyway. Nobody's going to question it, unless they're rude. Grow it out Saturday, Sunday. You have Monday off for an extra day. And then on Tuesday, what you're going to do, you want a beard. If you're going to grow a beard, have a beard trimmer. Okay? You are going to take the smallest setting on your beard trimmer. Mine is nice, and it says it in millimeters. You're going to take that like 1 millimeter length. You're going to go ahead and run the 1 millimeter length over the course of your face. You're going to make sure that neck beard is gone. Gone. Okay? And once you've evened it out with that 1 millimeter length, you look like you have that just good amount of scruff. Usually. Your mileage will vary a little bit depending on how quickly or slowly your beard grows, but that is the way to start growing your beard out. It's a good tactic. It lets you maintain professionalism. Okay? Let's talk about colors. Okay? I think most people have a sense that they look good in one color, but then they have no idea how they look in any other color. Or maybe they have 2 colors. Find the color that works for you. Okay? Most of us look good in blue or green. I find that greens are harder to find good greens, and there's a lot of bad greens out there. There are very few bad blues out there. Most of us look good in blue. Part of that's my personal bias. I, of course, chose to wear blue tonight. It goes with my eyes. I look great in blue. I think blue is the best color in the world. A little bit of personal bias going in there. Okay? What matters with color is the amount of contrast you have between your skin tone, your complexion, and your hair and your eyes. Okay? If you have low contrast, if you're very light skin, blonde hair, then you're going to want to go with colors that don't have a lot of contrast between them, if you're matching multiple colors. Base colors, of course, if you're blonde, typically means you have blue or green eyes. You're going to look good in yellow to go with the hair. You're going to look good in lighter colors, light blues, light greens. If your hair is a little bit darker, skin may be a little bit darker. I know that I'm pasty white half the time, but I'm not pasty white. I'm more of a cream white. Not that that matters at all. Essentially what you need to know is am I white enough to glow in the dark? Am I white enough that I'm never going to have tone? Am I able to get a tan? So on and so forth. How does that go with the hair? If you're blonde haired and you're able to get a full tan, you're getting some very strong contrast, and you're going to want to go ahead and add contrast to your appearance. If your appearance is more uniform, you have maybe some brown, light brown hair, lighter colored eyes, lighter colored skin, you probably want to go with some overall color muting to go with it. Right now, I'm not doing a good demonstration of this because I am mostly all in blue. I don't have a whole lot of contrast going on. The blue is nice and strong on its own. It goes with me. I have one solid color look going. Noticing chat, and I'm seeing funny things in chat right now. I appreciate that, guys. Okay. First rule for you is to figure out what degree of contrast you have, because that is going to determine what colors look best on you. If you are a high contrast person, if you're blonde with darker skin, or if you have darker skin and have decided to dye your hair blonde or bleach your hair, that sort of thing, you're going to want contrasting colors in your appearance. Okay? If you have a more muted look, maybe the brown with the lighter skin, blue or green eyes just all kind of going with it, or even brown eyes going with this, which would just blend in. If I had brown eyes right now, it would blend in with my hair, it would blend in with my skin. There wouldn't be a whole lot going on. What you need to look at is a color wheel. That color wheel that we saw back in grade school, where you start with red, yellow, and blue paint, you mix them together to get purple, orange, and green. Nebros is making a very good point in chat, and I'll talk about. I'm gonna tangent very, very briefly just to go over this point because it's a very good point to make. Nebros is pointing out, of course, that the blue I am wearing matches well with the brown wood tones behind me. A lot of us are working from home right now, and that is something to consider. Okay. Now we have a color wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the first result on Google Images. Is what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to pull up the first result on Google Image. So let's go ahead, pull this up, grab it. Grab our source here real quick. We're going to show it off, talk about it, pull up whatever color wheel you find convenient. And we need... Stand by, I'm being a little bit dysfunctional with technology right now. Most of you can probably relate to that. Okay, we're going to grab our color wheel, okay? We're going to sit with it up here, okay? I'm going to move conveniently over here. All right, we have a color wheel. First off, I want you to only worry about 6 colors. We know that red, blue, and yellow, all 3 kind of form a triangle, all equally distant from each other. We know that you mix them together, you get orange, purple, green, all kind of equally distant from each other. You can see going straight across, I need to be on this side. You can see at the top of the color wheel, you have the yellow opposite the purple. You can also see that the yellow, the red is going opposite the I can't point in the right directions right now, so we're just gonna skip that. You can see the red is opposite from the green. You can see the blue is opposite from the orange. If I add some orange into my appearance right now, which I do not have an orange, we're gonna grab an orange tie real quick to make this point. Okay, orange tie, orange tie. You can see it if I was also a Garcia tie like the one I'm wearing. If I'm wearing orange, it suddenly makes the orange pop a whole lot more because I've got blue as my base and I'm putting orange on top of it to just show off and to scream in your face. Okay? The opposite colors, they scream in people's faces. Now, on the other hand, if I go ahead and make a triangle with blue, I could go ahead and go a bit of a more yellowish orange, which I do not have handy at all. And I could combine that with more of a yellowish green, and I could mute out the colors a little bit. Blue would still be kind of my base color. The light orange, the yellow orange, the yellow green both bounce off of that. The idea here, let's go ahead and drop this color wheel off here. Okay. Now on the other hand, I could wear a purple tie. Purple tie is going to go with the blue. It's not going to stand out very loud. It's going to look nice because it goes with the blue. I could add some purple and some red to my appearance. All of it just kind of blends together because it's all in the same. We're going to pull that color wheel back up for a second. Because it is all in the same part of the color wheel down, if I can point correctly, in this kind of range. You have some blue, some purple, some magenta, some red. All of those go well together because they're all nearby. You want to choose colors that are either nearby or that form a triangle. Okay? And with the triangle, you always have one point, and then the other two are going to be the same distance from that point. That may be confusing. I'll keep it nice and simple again. Find the color you look good in. Find two colors you look good in. Oftentimes, the colors you look good in will be side-by-side colors. Blue and green, pretty much side-by-side colors. Both of them look great on me. Both of them probably look pretty decent on you. Most men do not look good in orange. Several men look good in red, unless, of course, you have a lot of rosiness in your cheeks and stuff, in which case, red, not the best color on you. This, of course, applies to women as well. Purple, depends. Okay? Yellow, only if you're blonde, pretty much. Although it depends, again. Everything can work. What you want to find is what does work. If you need a second person's opinion, get a second person's opinion. Okay? Now I'm going to talk about lines and patterns very, very briefly. There's a very simple adage that says if you want to make something look wider, if you're a skinny man like I am and you want to look wider, have stripes going horizontally to emphasize width, to make the eyes look in that direction. Okay? If you are a shorter man, wants to look taller, vertical lines are going to make you look taller. Okay? Warning. If you are a heavy-set man, do not wear vertical lines if you are wide enough that the lines start stretching and kind of going wavy over you. I know it sucks if that's the situation you're in. There's some cheats to make yourself look taller because stripes are the basic idea. Stripes are basic. You can see it very, very clearly when you look at yourself wearing stripes. The next time you go to a clothing store and shop for clothes, or if you have something in your wardrobe right now with stripes on it, go ahead and put it on. Look at yourself in the mirror and notice how if you have those horizontal stripes like I just did, it's emphasizing width. If you have the vertical stripes, it's emphasizing height. Hopefully you have a roommate, partner, etc., who can also kind of verify the same thing. Gives you the second opinion. Okay? There's a principle at work here. Anything going vertically in your outfit is going to emphasize height. Anything going horizontally through your outfit is going to emphasize width. It's going to help you compensate in one direction or another. Most of us either want to look taller or want to look wider. Those of us who don't instead opt for patterns, typically. Okay. The rule of thumb for patterns is pick something subtle. Okay. The mistake a lot of us make is we go with a plain color shirt. Okay. Most of us have our t-shirts. Let's go ahead and grab one of my polos again. Okay. Plain color. Now you can't see it super well here, but we've got a little bit of texture kind of woven into the fabric. It's a very subtle thing on camera. If you're working from home, not going to help you out that much. In person, though, it's going to add a little bit more to the appearance. Okay? Don't mind me. I don't have the best. My setup here is a little bit odd. Okay? If you have a subtle texture in the clothes you're wearing, it will add to the appearance. One other trick, if that is confusing to you or you don't care for that or you can't find a design that you like, one thing that is being done on occasion now is that the color of fabric, this is a dark red. We would all describe this as dark red. But what's actually going on in this jacket is that it's interweaving red with black. I had a blue hoodie a few years ago. Some of you will remember it, where the blue hoodie had the blue interwoven with the black. This has the dark red interwoven with black. And what it does is it removes that single color look. Okay? The big mistake a lot of men make, especially early on, fresh out of high school, some fresh out of college, is you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to whatever store you buy cheap clothing from, and they're like, oh, I need some new t-shirts. I'm going to go ahead and buy a red, a blue, a yellow, a green. They're on sale, 3 for $10 or 2 for $10. I'm just going to buy one of every color. They're all plain colors. Next time you're in a crowd of people, I understand right now, crowds of people, not the most common thing. You can go ahead and watch a YouTube video or something of a crowd from whatever situation, whatever, wherever you've been. Half the time you sit back and you're looking through a room or you're walking through a crowd. Green, blue, yellow. You're just seeing colors. When you're just seeing solid colors, you don't care about the people wearing them. Unless they've got something else going on with their style. When you see this from across the room, it catches your eye for a moment longer. Okay, a moment longer. Same thing with patterns. Okay, I have nothing handy to properly demonstrate what I was just thinking. Okay. I'm going to glance at chat very quickly. We're not going to talk about makeup. We've talked about so far fixing your own posture, working on your own appearance that you are always stuck with, so to speak. You're always wearing your face. You're always wearing your hair. You're always wearing your facial hair. We've talked about adding color to that to enhance your natural features, okay? Either you're a high contrast, which means that you've got like bright hair, or you're at the far ends of the spectrum for like hair and skin color. Sorry, not bright hair. Some of you who are very pale white have black hair, you're high contrast. If you have like blonde hair, light skin, blue eyes, you're low contrast. If you're falling somewhere in between, like yours truly, you're a little bit more medium contrast. Okay? And you want to match the same in your colors. If you are a low contrast person, having more muted colors combinations, like I'm just wearing the blue and the blue, I'm bouncing off my eyes. I'm eye-catching because it's all kind of the same color and it's all going well together. But I could be wearing blue with a red tie and maybe add in a yellow vest and be pure insanity. You're going to be noticing me from across the room. It's going to be high contrast. It's going to be a little too loud, but maybe you want to look loud. Okay? It's why I tend to wear colors all the time, so that I can look loud. It's one of the reasons why I tend to wear basic colors, despite just telling you, try to avoid that once in a while because it looks plain and generic. Okay? And then the rule with one more thought on patterns really quick. If you're wearing a this right here I described as a pattern in a sense, even though there's not an actual pattern going on. It's just a subtle bit going on in the fabric. Okay? You also have stronger patterns. I am losing half of my things off of my setup here. Do not mind me. I have a tie sitting right there. It is. Okay. Paisleys, polka dots are very loud patterns. Minimize loud patterns. Okay, they should be a small part of your outfit, not the whole thing. Okay. Things get simple from now on. Okay, things start to get a little bit simple from now on in the thing. We're gonna talk about casual clothing first. Okay. This is and now is the point where we're diving back into like strictly advice for men. For those of you who perhaps want to cosplay as men but don't have a specific necessarily appearance, or you want to make sure that you're not just going like generic look with the cosplay, or for those of you who like to draw, which there's quite a few artists. Sorry, there was something in chat for a second. I was very confused. Okay. Most men, and this is coming out of high school, this is coming out of like early college, you're used to wearing t-shirts and sweatpants. Okay. Step it up. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to step it up. Okay. Plenty of men, myself included, someone else currently in my chat included who will go without name, and probably half the guys in my chat are going to be like, oh, is he talking about me right now? At some point we say, oh, I need some new t-shirts. I'm going to buy the cheapest plain color shirts. I don't really know what looks good on me. I'm going to buy one of each color. If you want to step that up alone, figure out 2 or 3 colors that look good on you and double down on those colors. There's nothing wrong with having the Mark Zuckerberg wardrobe where you're wearing the same thing every day if the same thing looks good on you. Okay? If you want to upgrade your basic t-shirt, go with a V-neck. Okay? A regular V-neck, not like the low V-neck. Don't go crazy with your styling unless that's really what you want to do. Okay? Now V-necks go back to that principle I was talking about earlier of anything adding, the horizontalness, or sorry, I'm vertical. Vertical is what I meant to say. Or the horizontalness will add width or height. V-necks might be very sharp, which adds height, might be very broad, which kind of adds width. But because they're in between, it generally benefits both looks. Okay? I'm a skinnier man. Generally speaking, if I'm wearing a crew neck t-shirt, it's going to emphasize the width a little bit. But what I find is often that a V-neck, by adding a little bit more of the skin, tends to just make you look better. It tends to break up the monotony of a normal t-shirt. The same principle applies in upgrading your t-shirt, okay? You want a simple upgrade from I don't have a Henley handy. Upgrade to a Henley, one of those t-shirts that has the 3 buttons at the top. Upgrade to those. None of your friends are going to question it. You're going to look a little bit better, you're going to get a little more attention, and you're taking it a step up from the t-shirt. Okay? If you want to take it a step up from that, go from Henley to polo. Almost all of my casual clothing right now, polos. I might look, I look formal. I look dapper all the time. I don't mind wearing a polo. I feel comfortable in polos. If I want to dress it down, I'll wear a Henley. Now, some of you are saying, well, I have my t-shirts that I really like. I like my basic, ooh. I'm just going to leave things on the floor behind me. I have my basic t-shirts that I like. I have this band shirt that I really like. I have this Transformers shirt that I really like. Graphic tees are fairly informal. Okay, I'm just going to show this off for a second. We're gonna enjoy this G1 goodness for anyone who enjoys Transformers, okay? I love this shirt. I don't wear it very often. I sometimes wear it around a couple of particular friends because we all think it's really cool, because we all like G1 Transformers. There's something classic about it. It's an informal shirt. It's a very casual shirt. Still own it. Still rock it on rare occasion. But again, this goes back to being intentional. It goes back to the question of why are you wearing clothing? If I wear this G1 Transformers t-shirt, I feel good, especially around some of my friends who really appreciate it, who are going to comment on it. And I'm not wearing it worrying about a formal dress code. I'm not wearing it worrying about what the random person who sees me is going to say. If I care what the random person around me is going to say, I'm going back to one of those polos. Okay? Okay? So that's top. That's the top half of your body. The bottom half of your body. Men, sweatpants on men are like yoga pants on women, except we don't look good in sweatpants, and we'll check out women in yoga pants. Okay? Unless you're go out for a jog or working out, don't wear sweatpants. Or unless you are a father who has stopped caring what you look like because you have to deal with your kids all the time. Understandable reason. Okay? What you want to do is you want to choose between jeans and khakis. Okay? Jeans are less formal, khakis are more formal. All right? I don't like khakis. Despite the fact that I love looking dapper all the time, almost all the time, I don't like khakis. I don't find them comfortable. I would rather just wear dress pants, and I like wearing jeans. Now, the thing with jeans is you want to wear darker colored jeans. Just as a rule of thumb, you want dark blue jeans regardless. Okay? Light blue jeans just don't look good, and black jeans just, in my opinion, don't look good. Go dark jeans. Nice and simple. Go with a straight cut fit. Do not go with a relaxed fit. Ever. Earlier in chat, skinny jeans were mentioned. My advice is to avoid skinny jeans. That's my advice. That's a general rule of thumb. If you are an especially skinny man, you can rock skinny jeans. The general advice is avoid them. Now, of course, I give you advice. I let you choose for yourself. I teach you the rules. I teach you the ideas. You then decide, I like that. I don't like that. Up to you. That's what I'm telling you right now is go with just straight cut jeans, darker colored jeans if you're going to go jeans. If you're going to go khakis, though, you do gain a little bit of freedom because khakis come in a variety of colors. You can find like brick red khakis. You can find some slightly lighter blue khakis. It's one of the cool things about khakis that you have such a variety of color. And because you're wearing khakis, they already look more formal as pants. And you can go with the crazy color and still have it balance back out. It's one of the really cool things about khakis. I don't care for them, but it's there, it's available, it's an option. Okay? Also, if at any time you have questions, go ahead and post them in chat, and chat will be collecting. I just saw a funny comment in chat. Chat will be collecting questions, and I will be answering and doing a Q&A on all of this at the end of the hour. And we're about on pace. Perfect. Okay. Last thing is shoes. Okay, we have a comment in chat that I knew I was going to see. I only wear Vans. For me, I only wear Nikes. You know, all of us have whatever style of shoe we like to wear, and that's fine. Just keep in mind that Converse, of course we're seeing all the variety. The only thing about shoes is that they're another portion of formality. If you're wearing khakis, especially like a typical colored khaki, you're dressing up your outfit. If you're wearing the jeans, you're dressing down your outfit a little bit. Darker jeans, more formal than lighter jeans. The same rule applies with shoes. If you're wearing sneakers, they're going to typically look less formal, especially depending on what color they are. Vans also kind of look less formal, but I think they look more formal than sneakers. That's kind of a personal thought. You can wear a more dressy shoe with things and dress things up a little bit. We'll get to that in a little bit. On to business and formal attire. Yours truly. Okay? Dress shirts. Okay? Go with long sleeve unless you have a muscular build. Or unless it's summer and you really want to go short sleeve. Or unless you're a very weird body shape where long sleeve just will not look right on you. Okay? Now you have a choice with dress shirts. You have a choice between plain color and subtle texture. Okay? If you want to go plain color like I often do, make sure it is that color that looks good on you. Find that one color that looks good on you, go with that. Or go with a white shirt, or go with a black shirt. All of those, white shirt and black shirt are always a win. White shirt can fit any occasion. Your tie and other clothing can add color and personality and all of that. Black shirts also work for just about any occasion. Blues, light blues especially. This is not a light blue. This is a little bit more of a richer, slightly darker blue. Light blues also work well for almost everyone. Okay? If you want your shirt to look a little bit better, find a shirt with a subtle pattern in it. Maybe a little bit of like crosshatch stitching, that sort of thing. Okay? Keep on jumping around with my tabs here. Let's go ahead and just shrink this while I am doing this. That'll be perfect. Okay? You have the option of a French cuff shirt. This is not a French cuff shirt. This is a normal shirt. Actually, sorry. Let's go back to dress shirt before we go French cuffs. Before we go French cuffs, let's talk about fit really quick. Most men hate wearing a dress collar. It's too. I'm choking all the time. It's chafing. It's bad. To know if your neck fits you or not, take 2 fingers, pop them in the collar, make sure they can move around comfortably. If you can take 4 fingers, put them in the collar, move them around I realized there I was able to move it around fairly comfortably. Force of habit, my collars tends to wear a little bit higher on me anyway, just because of the particular fit I'm wearing. If you can move like 4 fingers around there comfortably and have plenty of room to spare without like having your fingers rubbing all against your neck and chafing, too big. Okay? If you can't get the fingers in there, if you can't get those 2 fingers in there comfortably, the neck needs to be the next size up. Okay? Some of you, because you hate wearing dress shirts, will want to go ahead and go 1 neck size up intentionally. The main thing you want to watch for, you guys can see here on stream, I don't have a whole lot of room around my collar and between my neck that's showing off. A little bit towards the back, a little bit. If my collar was just, let's go ahead and scoop this up. That's not going to help. This fits too well, unfortunately. If you can see just like a ton of space in there, it's too wide. Some of you might want to take the gamble and go a size too big on the color to be more comfortable in your dress shirt. The way to make that work is to go with a black dress shirt, okay? Fun fact, my black dress shirt is an inch wider on the collar. It's because at the particular time that I bought it, I was trying to work out at the gym. I was hoping to add a little bit of bulk to my neck, and I was hoping it would fit better in the long run. Fortunately, that never came to be. But because it's black, because it tends to blend better, because it's sitting down nice and firm, because my neck tends to move around enough anyway, just in my general way of communication, it ends up being passable. Okay? Once again, hello to everyone in chat. Let's go ahead and respond to one. There's one comment in chat I want to respond to really quick. I hate long sleeves. Once again, I give you advice. I give you my opinion. I give you the general fashion advice. You choose what to take or leave from it. If you weren't here at the start of the hour, find one thing out of everything I say in here that resonates with you, that you say, that makes a lot of sense. I want to try that out, and go with it. If you're an overachiever, pick 3. I'm covering a ton of material. Unless you're insane like I am, just keep it simple for yourself. Pick 1 thing, pick 2 things, pick 3 things to focus on. I don't like long sleeves, fine. You don't like long sleeves, don't wear long sleeves. Plain and simple. I think they look better. I think they look more formal. But that's me. That's also the general fashion advice. You want to buck that trend, that's fine. That's your choice. What I want is for you to be comfortable. I want you to feel good in what you're wearing. And I want you to know, again, the be deliberate rule. You now know that you are deliberately avoiding long sleeves. That's wonderful. You know that. You're aware of it. It's not just, oh, this shirt happens to be short sleeve. Oh, this shirt happens to be long sleeve. I happen to pick this up. It's now, I am wearing this for this reason. French cuffs. Okay? French cuffs need to be worn. They're supposed to be worn with a blazer or a suit coat. Okay? I break that rule all the time. That is a rule that I personally break. I don't like suit coats. I like vests. Okay? French cuffs also, you're going to go ahead and you're going to need the cuffs for them, the cufflinks for them. Okay? Cufflinks are an extra cost. They add a little bit of extra style. If you want to see a good example, see somebody in chat's getting ahead of me and understands the dressing up, dressing down concept that we're going to be getting to. Okay? If you want a good example of a man who is currently in the media who is always wearing cufflinks and wearing them as part of a suit, and they enhance his appearance, Donald Trump. Okay, think what you want about him and his politics. We're not going into any of that tonight. But he is always wearing a French cuff shirt. He's always wearing a suit. And that little hint, I don't have any of my French cuffs are sitting over there, I think. There is always that hint of metal glinting around his wrists. The next time that you are unfortunate or fortunate enough to tune into one of his speeches, or he's doing at whatever point you happen to see him on the news because people are saying good or bad about him, go ahead and pay attention to that. It's something that he rocks very, very well. And even if you don't like a guy, you can still learn from his fashion. Now the vest versus blazer versus suit question. Okay. A lot of occasions call for a blazer or suit. The difference between a blazer and a suit is a blazer is just the jacket. A suit is the matching jacket and trousers. Okay. Personally, I am a dancer, ballroom dancer. My arms, they want to be up like this. If you're wearing a suit, you've got those forced shoulders where the second you lift up your arms in any way, the suit puffs up and you look like this all of a sudden. Okay? That's why I prefer to wear vests personally, is that my arms, I have full range of movement in my arms. I'm just adding a little bit of extra heat from the vest. I also, happen to be doing that whole breaking up the appearance thing vertically like I talked about before. That's why I like a vest. So if you hate dress shirts in the first place, and then you almost probably definitely hate having to be in a monkey suit, consider a vest. Okay. Blazers I tend to dislike in general. There are plenty of men who like them. There's definitely a certain group of people who, for whatever reason, if you're a very casual person, if you're an artist, for example, and you go to like a gallery showing or something, normally artists aren't expected to necessarily dress up, but they're expected to dress up a little bit. And so you get this weird case where you have like a plain color t-shirt and a dress blazer over it. And to me, it looks bizarre. To me, I hate it. It's a completely acceptable thing. Personally, I hate it. Better to wear like a Henley underneath the blazer, to wear a polo underneath the blazer. Plus, then you can have a more fun blazer too. Okay. Now, where you are able to have as much fun as you want, I've been talking a little bit more towards formality in all things. You notice that even when I was talking about the difference between like a t-shirt, a Henley, a dress shirt, it was levels of formality going up the scale higher. I very much think of that as a scale. When you're wearing dress clothes and you want to go crazy, you add as much of a splash of color in that tie as you want. Ties are allowed to go crazy, especially if you're wearing a vest or a suit to cover it up. Oop, I was having that backwards. Okay. Exactly. Like it's being said in chat right now. It's typically a plain color shirt with a blazer. Okay. A lot of you who are working in business offices, let's back this up. There are a lot of rules of fashion. There's a lot of classic rules, a lot of traditional rules, a lot of the wisdom of the ages, as it were. A lot of the details are being forgotten. The reason why I expect this webinar to be so successful in the long run, certainly, is because most of us have just heard one piece or another piece or something of information here or there about fashion, and a lot of the bulk has been forgotten. A lot of workplaces are loosening their standards quite a bit. I'm going to apologize now. I'm not going to be doing channel redemptions until probably the Q&A section on the stream. I know there's been a couple of different things in there. Okay. Your tie is generally a place where you are allowed to get crazy no matter how formal a setting. Not always no matter how formal a setting, but unless you have especially wealthy friends, go with that. On the same note, as this information is forgotten, as the bits and pieces kind of fall here and there, a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations will say, hey, we're having a formal night, and it's semi-formal, or it's formal, or it's this, or it's they're going to say something about the dress code being this or that. Always ask for clarification. There are official terms. You have black tie, you have black tie optional, you have not business formal. I always forget. It's semi-formal / business casual, I believe. Let me check my notes really quickly on that. I always space on what the term is, and the reason I space on what the term is because a lot of people use the wrong term to describe the dress code. Semi-formal or business dress, and then it's business casual or dress casual, and then it's casual, and then there's no dress code. And a lot of I'm going through these terms very, very rapidly. I'm not going to talk about them because a lot of the time different people mean different things rather than falling back on the traditional meanings. Okay? When in doubt, always ask for clarification. The reason why you want to ask for clarification is so that you don't end up being overdressed for an event or underdressed for an event. However, with some certain strategies, you can prepare yourself to dress up or dress down for an event. So now is the fun part, the part that is the favorite part to me. Oh, nope, sorry, I skipped over dress shoes. How could I skip over dress shoes? We'll get to dressing up and dressing down in an outfit in a minute. Dress shoes. The plainer and more black a shoe, you have a variety of colors in dress shoes. If it's black, it's more formal. If it's other colors, it's less formal. Oxblood, which is a dark blood I'll show off in a second, can be more formal. Let's go ahead and show off a few of my personal... Let's go ahead and start casual here. Let's start casual. We're going to start casual with a bad example, okay? This is a pair of loafers, okay? It is not a whole cut look, but it's a very plain, overall consistent look between most of the shoe. Very slightly broken up with the broguing. That's not even broguing. I forget the term for when it's stitched in this particular way, okay? This is a good plain look that dresses up the loafers a little bit. Loafers are considered informal. Anything you can slip on, loafers, monk strap, Chelsea boots, less formal typically. Okay. One thing to avoid in shoes. You see this, it's slightly curved, but it's mostly a square toe. Do not get square-toed shoes. Ever. They're ugly. The only reason I own these guys is because I happen to get these guys for free. They're super comfortable. I can slip them on, slip them off, and not have to worry. Whole reason I own them. Also, they're also surprisingly comfortable besides that, which is nice. Okay. Chelsea boot. Chelsea boots are the best thing in the world. This is personal bias here. Okay. Chelsea boots look good on men, on women, on everyone else. Sometimes called a beetle boot because the beetles wore them. Okay. Sometimes they'll have the tab just in the back. Sometimes they'll have the tab in the front and the back. They've got this nice little spot on the side. They're a nice whole cut look through. Okay. The key thing with Chelsea boots that you want to do is make sure that your pant leg is covering the top. You don't want these little tabs sticking out unless you're sitting down. If you're sitting down, your pants right up a little bit, that happens. But if you're standing tall, you don't want these tabs sticking out. I remember one night I was out dancing. There was a girl who was wearing Chelsea boots with the tabs on both ends. She was also wearing a skirt with them. It was a really funny situation because she was attractive. And I ended up, of course, complimenting the Chelsea boots. I'm like, hey, that's a nice pair of Chelseas. Because Chelsea boots look good regardless. But she's also wearing a skirt, so the tabs are kind of sticking out. Ended up letting me start up a conversation with her very, very easily. It was very nice. The thing is, though, the tabs are ugly. They're not meant to show out. They're meant to help you put the boots on easily and snugly. They're not meant to be shown off. Okay, something to keep in mind, especially as men. You're not going to be wearing Chelsea boots with shorts. Okay. Next pair of shoes we'll talk about. Haven't worn these in a little bit, so there's a little bit of dust. I apologize. Wingtips. Okay. I forgot how good this camera is. It's pulling up a lot of stuff. Wingtips. Now this right here is a sexy shoe. It's a very sexy shoe. Has the oxblood color, has some dark gray that blends very, very well. Is the why am I spacing on the term for the vamp? Not the vamp. It has the blucher lacing style, that's what I was trying to think of, instead of the closed lacing style. And it has just all this design and all this pattern on. These shoes, very, very eye-catching. They were also a mistake for me to pick up, okay? The reason for that is that the colors that go with this dark red and add to an outfit, pretty minimal. Now, they can go with a strong contrast with this. Wow, this camera is picking up the dust super, super well. I apologize. I apologize for not cleaning up my shoes before this. It's been a long time while we've all been stuck inside and not going out and about as much. Okay? First off, the color is difficult because the color is going to create a much more profound statement. Now, if I was wearing a white shirt, perhaps a red tie, perhaps a blue tie, doesn't matter, these shoes would kind of complete an outfit. They'd be eye-catching. Shoes are always a way to upgrade your outfit. I think a lot of men understand this already. Either they have a particular type of sneaker they like to get, especially those who go Nike hunting. I don't go Nike hunting. I just wear Nikes because we have a Nike outlet nearby, and it's a great deal on a good pair of shoes. Shoes are a good way to always step up your outfit. If you have nice shoes, and you notice again, no squared, wow, the dust shows up so well. That's beautiful. Let's go ahead and, where is I have lost that right now. I apologize. Okay. The thing about wingtips though, so wingtip means it has this little design here with the wings, has the wings kind of going back. You can see that it looks like wings going down on the sides. Okay. Wingtips are less formal. Wingtips are more formal than loafers. More formal, the Chelsea boots I have there are probably more formal than these wingtips here, because these wingtips, that's a black color Chelsea boot, hole cut. This is a oxblood wingtip. Now I pointed out, one more thing I'll point out again, is that we have the blucher style laces where it's open there, okay? Bluchers are the next step up. I don't own bluchers because I don't like them, personally. I would rather wear wingtips to show off, or I would rather wear this next guy, a nice Oxford, okay? Now the Oxford, you noticed here, is defined by having the closed lacing, okay? The difference between an Oxford and a blucher is the blucher will have the open lacing I was just showing you on the wingtips. This guy has the closed lacing. That makes this a more formal shoe. All right. Oxfords are more formal. The closed lacing is more formal. I like the cap toe look personally. Again, you notice I'm not doing a square tip. It goes nice and curved through the bottom of the toe. Very minimal design through the thing. A very formal shoe. Less flashy. Much less flashy. Those wingtips I was showing you a second ago, oh, those catch everybody's eye, those get noticed, those get seen. These guys, not so much. It depends on the occasion. It depends on what you want to wear. This was the reason why, as soon as I mentioned dressing up and dressing down, I immediately remembered, oh, we forgot to go over shoes, okay? Because think about dressing up or dressing down an outfit. Is that when we go with Chelsea boots, I can wear these with a dark pair of jeans and a polo. And all of a sudden, I would normally be wearing sneakers. All of a sudden, I upgrade to Chelsea boots. That outfit looks more formal. Okay? If I want to take it a step further, I add the dress shirt. Okay? We're going to go backwards for a brief moment, okay? Three-piece suit, vest, suit coat, matching trousers. Most formal, tuxedo is actually the most formal you can get. White tie event is technically the highest level of formality that none of us will ever have to worry about in our lifetimes. maybe once if we ever do, and it's only if you're at some sort of event where people are in the 8 figures or higher income, okay? Let's say I show up to an event wearing what I'm wearing right now, and let's say that most people at the event are wearing polos. Okay, maybe some are wearing some dress shirts. The vest is too formal. I ditch the vest, okay? Same thing with if you're wearing a blazer. You can ditch the blazer out in the car, okay? All of a sudden, oop, I'm getting stuck on myself behind my chair. All of a sudden, my outfit's less formal. I look more relaxed. Oh, I want to go ahead and make it a little less formal, make it look a little more relaxed. Let's go ahead and pop the sleeves, roll them up, okay? And I realize the angle here, not the best. We're gonna roll up the sleeves. And as is being said in chat right now, the vest makes such a difference. Okay, we're gonna transform this whole outfit right in front of you, from formal to casual plus is what I'll describe it as. I don't know why it's always easy rolling up one sleeve and then difficult to roll up the other. I'm gonna apologize for the sloppiness of this since I want to keep this rolling along. Just gonna go ahead and do that. So all of a sudden now, you can see I look a lot more casual than I did before. Okay, next step. This is an Eldritch knot, by the way. We're gonna show this off for one brief moment. I believe there was a tie redemption somewhere in here. You see the nice layering. For tie knots, learn how to tie a full Windsor, okay? I'm not going to talk about that tonight. If you think you are tying a Windsor, you might still be wrong. Look up a full Windsor on YouTube, learn how to tie it, make sure that it is the knot that you are tying. If you are tying a 4-in-hand, you are doing it wrong, okay? So place for the 4-in-hand, but I'm not going to talk about that, okay? Next step, we're popping off the tie, okay? And I might end up getting this tie back on in a second. We'll see as I decide to dress this back up. Okay. Next up, top button undone. Okay. All of a sudden, I have gone in the last about 60, 90 seconds. It's a funny comment in chat. I have gone in the last, from the last 60 to 90 seconds from being, pretty formal here on stream to looking nice and relaxed. Despite the fact that I'm wearing dress pants, despite the fact that I'm wearing a dress shirt still, I've got my sleeves rolled up. I've got my collar undone. I could dress this down for I could switch out the dress pants right now for a pair of dark jeans, add those Chelsea boots to it, and all of a sudden I look both casual and stylish. This is a trick that a lot of guys don't realize they have available to them. Okay? This is the kind of thing where if you don't know what the dress code is, you bring all the supplies that you need. You bring the tie, you bring the vest or blazer, you decide to wear the dress shirt, and maybe if you're like really, and you bring, the Chelsea boots with you, assuming you decide to go with Chelsea boots, or you have like your nice, whatever pair of dress shoes that you have, you bring them with you. And then you get there dressed like I was just a couple of minutes ago. And you realize, oh crap, everybody's around here in polos. A few people are in dress shirts, but the dress shirts are a little bit too formal, maybe. Heck, maybe everybody is wearing polos, and you're the only one who got dressed up for an event, and you're just like, crap. So okay, you take off that vest, you ditch it in the car. The blazer, you ditch it in the car. Same thing with the tie. You roll up the sleeves. You fix your sleeves at some point so that you don't look as sloppy as I do right now. You pop that top button off of the collar. You still got your Chelsea boots. You still got your dress slacks on. All of a sudden, you're the best dressed man in the room, and you only, instead of being, the bar is here, you were dressed here, which was way too high, and suddenly, though, you're now here, you're the best dressed man in the room. And all that happened was that you overdressed, and you knew how to fix being overdressed, okay? Right? And so the same thing works in reverse. If you have jeans and a Henley or jeans and a polo, you can dress them up by adding, say, Chelsea boots or dress shoes, whatever ones you have. Okay? You can kind of mix and match. I've talked about the different levels of formality for different clothes along the way. it's an idea I'm going to put out there. I don't want to dwell on it any longer because we're starting to get a bit over time. And so I'm going to talk about, I think, casual clothing. Casual clothing. The thing that can most improve your casual style. Let's go ahead and dress back up casually for a second. Maybe you have no idea what the dress code is, and you want to be ready. But you also, you want to be ready with both. You go ahead and you put your casual jacket in the car. I've got this nice looking casual jacket. Go ahead and put this on top of my dress clothes. Go ahead and zip it up. I'll do this where we can be seen. Okay. I threw this jacket in the car. I'm still wearing dress pants, but all of a sudden my belt is covered up, so it's not as obvious. I've got my button undone. I'm dressed like this. All of a sudden, I just dressed down even further by adding a jacket. How did I just dress down further by adding a nice jacket? I don't even know. It's all possible. So those are all thoughts about dressing up, dressing down. One quick piece of advice that I wanted to make sure I covered in this video because it will be very applicable to the greatest number of you. Job interviews. For job interviews, your goal is to figure out how they dress in their workplace and be one step above it. One step above. I'm going to talk about a quick story really quick. I applied for a job at Best Buy 3 years back maybe, just because I was hoping to pull off some Black Friday deals and stuff. Didn't end up getting the job. Best Buy's dress attire is a blue polo with black khakis, I think usually is what they go with. Okay. I don't wear khakis. I wore my dark jeans, I think. I may have worn my dress slacks. I forget. But I decided to go ahead and wear a blue polo with a nicer jacket than this. Okay. The reason for that is I wanted to send a very specific message. I wanted to look like I was already part of the team for that job. I wanted to already look the part. I wanted them to look at me and to visualize me working as a Best Buy employee. Okay. Some people, no doubt, showed up for that interview wearing like a white dress shirt and a tie. No doubt at all. There was probably some high school kid who showed up wearing maybe a t-shirt, you know, who knows. Your goal isn't to dress as fancy as you possibly can. Your goal is to dress one step up. One step up. Okay? That's the secret to being the best dressed man in the room. If you show up to an event where people are wearing polos and you're dressed in a full three-piece suit, you're going to stick out in a bad way. But if everybody's wearing polos and you're doing like I'm doing right now, where maybe you're wearing a nice jacket with a top button undone dress shirt underneath, where not a lot of the dress shirt can even be seen right now, you're going to blend in pretty well. I'm going to take this off because it's really hot in this room, so we're going to go ahead and drop that real quick again, okay? Okay, so that is the entirety of the webinar portion. We're going to get to the Q&A in a second. We only ended up running about 10 minutes over, I think, which is not too bad at all for time. Once again, take 1 to 3 ideas. If right now, go ahead wherever you are. Whatever you have handy, grab either your phone to take notes with or a pencil and paper if you're old school like me. Write down 1 to 3 things that you want to implement in your own personal style. Okay, 1 to 3 things that you want to work on. Okay. If you want to rewatch this VOD later, it will still be available on Twitch for a while. I plan to put it on YouTube afterwards as well. And of course, if you got value out of this, it is a pay what you want webinar. It's suggested to pay a $10 donation. But again, pay what you want. Decide what value you got out of it. And please help support this channel. I'm looking to add new microphone, new lighting, other such. And I'm hoping that this is popular enough to be doing more of a fashion series in the future. Q&A time. Okay, I'm gonna glance at chat before the Q&A. I'm gonna see what all I missed really quick here. So I'll go ahead and recap. We went over posture first. Posture is going to be your biggest difference. Posture will improve you in any outfit you are wearing. Okay, like Nebro said in chat, the posture lesson alone is worth $10. I could do a full half-hour thing on posture, especially as a dance teacher. I can do longer than that. Posture is going to do a lot of different things for you. Okay. I know it sounds, again, we're going to talk about that chin. The chin up alone is going to make a big difference for you. You don't need to do it while other people are around and you're talking to them. You don't want to necessarily look like, oh, I'm one of those, better than you kind of people. It's something you can work on your own. Have a mirror at your desk if you're in a workplace. Have a mirror, if you're sitting in front of your computer all day, have a mirror next to you. Look into it. Study the expressions on your face. Pay attention to where your chin is at. It will reflect in your voice and in other areas. Glancing through chat still, we talked about the color wheel. Take some time to study the color wheel. It's going to be your best friend. Figure out 1 or 2 colors you look good in and have that be the backbone of your wardrobe. You don't want to have you don't need a huge variety of colors in your closet. I do because I am me, because I'm a dancer. I make a very loud statement because I am a dancer. I dress very flamboyantly for that reason. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe the right choice for you is to go ahead and have some, light blue shirts as kind of your base. Maybe add in some black shirts, maybe add in some white shirts if the white shirts look good on you, and just have blue be kind of the foundation of your wardrobe. Maybe you want red to be the foundation of your wardrobe. Pick 1 or 2 colors that look good on you and go with those. Because ideally, it's sad how often we buy clothes because, oh, I need a new shirt, I need a new jacket, and then we hate them. But then once in a blue moon, we buy something that we get complimented on all the time, that we love how we look and we love how it feels. That can be the case with every piece of clothing that you own. And it frankly should be. Don't just buy something to buy it. Always buy something because you know you like it and you know you're happy with it. Makeup, again, not covered in this series. I assume the average man chooses not to wear makeup. We'll put it that way. There's a lot of fashion products you can purchase if you do want to. What I would probably most recommend is wrinkle cream, actually, for men, if you're going to look into that. There are some different packages out there that you can purchase to do like a once a day application, that sort of thing. Up to you. I assume most of the audience watching this is still in their 20s or very early 30s and has only started to notice some of the fact that suddenly, eventually, we just start getting older. And it's the kind of thing that the sooner you do get on some sort of preparatory regimen, the more it'll make a difference in the long run. Compliments on the Transformers shirt, I appreciate that. And it doesn't look like I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat right now, which is good. So we'll be able to wrap up pretty quickly, I think. Just going to keep glancing through, trying to read through everything. One quick thought on ties. If you want a tie that makes a statement, the Garcia brand of ties always look good. They're also very loud ties. That's, of course, what I was wearing before. That was also the orange tie I had on here briefly. Learn how to tie a Windsor if you do not know how. Make sure that you are tying a Windsor if you don't know how. There is at least one person in chat right now who was tying a 4-in-hand and called it a Windsor. I don't know if you remember who you are. I pointed it out to you some years later. And I'm going to keep skipping over a lot of what is... Okay, Q&A time. Okay, so there were a few questions asked beforehand. I may pull up a couple of extra questions. So the first question was by Bed from chat, and he said, "What are your thoughts on skinny ties?" Okay, let's go ahead and find where half of my ties have landed. Oh, I didn't talk about bow ties. We'll talk about bow ties real quick, okay? Bow ties, wear an actual bow tie. Do not wear a pre-tied bow tie. Okay? Wear an actual bow tie, learn how to tie an actual bow tie. Bow ties are actually considered informal. Okay, they're considered less formal than a necktie. A bow tie does not need to be perfectly even. It's allowed to be crooked, it's allowed to be a little uneven, it's allowed to be a little bit floofy. Personally, I wear them as crisp and cleanly as possible because I like to be super deliberate. I don't want there to be any doubt that every piece of my appearance has been carefully chosen. But bow ties are allowed to have that flexibility. Okay, where's... That's what I needed. Where's my... Okay. Going to apologize for this ties and skinny ties. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead to the next question. Okay. So I'm going to grab 3 ties that are all of different widths. The way you can recognize a skinny tie first off, I've got 3 ties here. Okay. Each of these ties is substantially smaller. The Garcia tie is a 3.75 inch width at its widest point tie. Okay. Most ties are going to be between 3 and 3.5 inches. Older ties will go up as wide as 4.5 inches. Garcia ties, of course, being made by the wonderful Jerry Garcia from Grateful Dead. He's still going with more of an older look. He also has all these beautiful designs on them. He goes with a wider tie look. As a rule of thumb, the broader a man you are, the wider a tie you want to wear. Okay, that is the rule of thumb. Okay. This, I believe, is a 3-inch width on this guy right here. Will work on almost all men. This guy right here is the narrowest tie I have at a 2.5-inch width. I am a skinny man. Skinny men can wear skinny ties, but skinny ties are very much a fashion trend and, in my opinion, look ugly. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy on real quick here. Not worrying too much about putting it on right. Oop. Flip it around so that it's looking properly. Okay. You can see, I apologize for the length being incorrect here, but you can see how narrow this tie is even on me and my build at a 2.5-inch width. There are super skinny ties that get down to like a 2-inch, 1.5-inch width. I dislike skinny ties. Even this guy, who I think is a beautiful tie, and when I tie him the way that I want, he looks great. Let's go ahead and try to fix that again. So I need you to be about there. Actually, try to put this guy on this time. Okay, this right here is a 4-in-hand. Okay, 4-in-hand is a bit longer in the knot. Just landing about right on me, trying to pop it on. Oh, it's still wrong. Still the wrong length. You can always do the loosened 4-in-hand look with the top button undone to look a little more casual. Just wanted to throw that out here while we're here. Okay. So again, short version, avoid skinny ties is my general advice. They are very much a fashion trend. There's a variety in tie widths available there. Don't go below 2.5 inch, in my opinion. 2.5 inch is the modern width. 3 to 3.5 inch will look fine on most men. Some heavy set men will perhaps want to go with an older 4.5 inch width, which is very wide, but on a heavy set man will help balance out the look a little bit. Yes, we are in the Q&A portion, Cypress. I'm going to go down the list of questions as soon as I pull up my next question, since I'm, not you. This one, okay? Next question comes from Future Guy in chat. He says, the missus and I argue about one point regularly. Can you mix print with stripes or 2 different patterns in the same outfit? Okay, so the rule of thumb is that if you're going to be using the same pattern in an outfit, you want it to be different sizes, or different sizes is the best word I have to describe it right now. The example I'm going to use, obviously I would not wear a tie with a polo, but I don't own I don't have a dress shirt handy. If you look at this tie on this polo, you notice the stripes of this polo have these bigger blue stripes, these smaller gray stripes, which are kind of halfway in between not quite halfway, which about match the light blue and the dark blue and these kind of black section here, okay? They just blend and the eyes glaze over them. If you look at this outfit, what immediately pops out, of course, is the stripes on the shirt because the shirt is dominating it, as well as that thin black stripe in the middle because of the contrast. The thin blue stripe almost goes unnoticed because it blends seamlessly into this color here, but that black stripe gets noticed substantially because it is a different size of stripe. Okay? That's the rule on same patterns. Now, can you mix different patterns together in an outfit? The answer is yes. Of course you can. Obviously, I can put, this striped tie onto this plain color shirt. Now, what you were asking for was patterns, okay? Whatever piece of your outfit dominates your outfit, whether you're wearing primarily a shirt, primarily a blazer, you want that to have the most subtle design in it, okay? If we had, when you have full-on stripes through a full shirt, those stripes are already dominating the outfit. If I add a paisley tie on top of this, this is incredibly loud. I can do this, it's acceptable, but it's screaming at everyone from across the room. It's drawing attention to me and probably in a bad way. Okay? And future guy, if you are still here, I can expand on that a little bit further. I believe you've already taken off for the evening. So hopefully that is able to answer your question for you and the missus. Now, at the same time, you also have to keep the missus happy, so, there's that to factor in as well. Because, again, those three pillars I talked about, there's the form and function, there's how it makes you feel emotionally. You obviously feel a certain way, the missus feels another way. So there's the emotional side of how you feel, then there's your appearance as far as other people are concerned, which is where the missus comes in. So you gotta balance all these things and decide what is right for you, as I know you already do. Our next question comes from Neberos in chat. Why does the bottom button of a blazer, of a suit, of a vest need to be undone? And I'm going to actually apologize because I did not research this correctly in the first time, and so I'm going to forget the name of the particular ruler, and I'm going to actually Google this one really on the spot. I know the story, but I want to get the correct name. Why does the bottom button need to be undone? Okay, this is going to tell me Edward VII from the early 1900s. That's why, okay? It goes to Edward VII specifically. That's the name I need to pull off. It was a style used in the early 1900s by Edward VII, and it just became the fashion trend, okay? What it means nowadays is that certain, let's go ahead and grab my vest back up here. Oop, where'd I throw my vest? Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the practicality. Some vests, some blazers, some vests, some blazers will actually have it designed so that, I'm gonna go ahead and button this back up real quick just to demonstrate this point. Okay. Some of them will actually be built in such a way where the bottom button can't properly button into the button, or it'll be really, really tight. Now I'm gonna button this really quick. This is not gonna actually be able to be shown very well. If I sit down with my bottom button buttoned, I actually feel this very, very tightly around my waist. The second I undo that bottom button, it feels a lot more comfortable around my waist. Okay. Of course, there's also the rule with suits and blazers that you're going to go ahead and undo the buttoning anyway when you sit down. Okay, that basically shows that that's basically signaling that you are comfortable and that you're willing to stick around. Okay? It's not meant to do the thing that explains your old vest. Yes, some of them are not meant to have the bottom button buttoned. Glad to answer that question, okay? A family member of mine asks, socks. How do we handle socks, okay? I'm only going to talk about dress socks real quick. I assume that for athletic wear, you wear whatever socks you choose to. For dress socks, my recommendation for all men is wear calf-high socks, okay? I wear calf-high socks. I don't wear ankle-high socks. I don't wear no-show socks. Okay, no matter what you are doing, make sure that you wear socks of some sort. Okay, socks are going to extend the life expectancy of your dress shoe. They're going to prevent you from injuring yourself. A good friend of mine, we went to an event where we had to be slightly dressed up with dress slacks and with. Did we have to wear dress shoes? I think we both did wear dress shoes, whether we needed to or not. I forget offhand. He was wearing a new pair of dress shoes. He was not wearing socks. His big toenail caught like while he was walking around in the dress shoes, and it was not pretty. We'll just put it that way. It was not pretty. His feet were not happy at the end of that day. He had his shoes stuffed with toilet paper to just make sure things worked out, and it was an unhappy day. Okay. The current style is to wear no-show socks. It's so that when you're sitting back and you have one leg up over the other one, I can't show because I'm not quite sitting far enough back right now. That you can go ahead and you have your dress shoe visible. You have your skin. You know, if this is my foot, you have your dress shoe on. You have the skin visible from above the dress shoe up until your pant line, into the pant leg. Okay, that is the current style. If that is what you want to do and you are choosing to do that, that is fine. I dislike it. I think it looks bad on most men. I would rather have a plain black dress sock to go from whatever color dress shoe, the black just to blend in to whatever typically black colored pants or charcoal gray if you are wearing a suit trouser. Okay. You also of course have the freedom to wear fancy socks. Okay. Fancy socks are fun. They're a spot besides your tie where you can often add personality to your outfit. Okay. Our next question comes from my friend Greg. Seriously though, who wants to look at men's ankles? That's Chad, I love you guys. Okay, the next question comes from my friend Greg. And I don't have his exact wording pulled up, but essentially Greg wants a beard/mustache style that looks good on him. Okay, and this is a funny question that comes up because a lot of us, especially as men who don't know what we're doing, we go with something and then we just kind of stick with it for a while. And so Greg has been rocking a goatee for actually a few years now. I can't actually picture him wearing anything else, but I also haven't seen him in a long time. Now, facial hair depends on a couple of things. It depends on your head shape, and it depends on what you're able to actually grow in. Okay? What you ideally want is a style that accents your facial shape. Greg's face shape is a kind of circle square. Kind of in between a circle and a square, okay? Greg is also a little bit on the shorter side. Now, Greg, you're wearing a goatee, and that correctly, you know, you're going off of this, you know, the line principle of that verticality to add height. So you're wearing a goatee, so it just kind of comes back, you know, down the sides. Your cheeks are nice and clean. You look kind of like this, you know, for lack of a better way to put it. The problem is, because you have a circular, almost square-shaped head, you're just putting a box, and because your chin is also very, very flat, you're just putting like a box shape onto a circle shape, and it looks boring, for lack of a better way to put it. My advice for you actually comes in two parts, okay? The first part, Greg wears his hair down. I'll go ahead and put my own hair a little bit, kind of like this. Greg wears his hair down. His hair is longer than mine. It comes down a little better. Fix my hair now. Greg, what I would advise you to do is small tweak on your hair. Wear your hair at more of an angle, okay? If your hair was grown out a little bit longer, I would suggest kind of that like emo grunge look of like medium length hair kind of coming down into the eyes at an angle, not very far past that. I assume you want to stick with the current length of hair. In some of your pictures, I went going through your Facebook pictures to answer this question because I obviously haven't seen you in far too long, and I miss you, and you miss me too, and I appreciate that. Wear your hair, comb your hair at an angle, brush your hair at an angle, whatever you do. Put it at an angle so that it's disrupting that circular look. Okay. What you want to do is you want to take that circle and you want to put a diamond onto it. Okay. So wear your hair at kind of that 45 degree, I guess it would be 45 plus 90, 135-degree angle. One side or the other side, up to you, whichever one you think looks best and are comfortable with. The other thing, if you are able to do it, grow a full beard. Once you've grown the full beard, you already take care of your neckline very, very well. What you want to do is you want to create ideally an angle and a bit of an angle slash curve down along your cheek lines. Okay? That angle is going to complete that diamond shape. You're going to start that diamond shape with your hair up top. I'm showing on myself going this way because this is how I got it set up. And complete it with an angle coming back down. Okay? I don't know if your cheeks grow in as fully with your beard, so you may end up going down a bit lower with the cheek lines. That's fine. You do what works for you. To expand this advice out a little bit more to everyone, I don't think mustaches on their own look good. Now, Greg, if you want to try just a mustache, go ahead and bring it like all the way down to the corners of the lips and then back on up so that it actually is creating kind of a nice little arch and is once again trying to create more of those kind of diamond diagonal shapes in your face. Okay? I don't recommend just a mustache. I think it's a style that should have died with the 70s and 80s. If you're going to wear a mustache, also wear facial hair. That's very much my personal bias. Those are the options I present to you, and I hope that you find one or more of those helpful. Our next question. Where's my... I want to glance back at the gag questions. I got asked a couple of gag questions, and I want to address them. Oh, I wish that had gotten taken care of sooner. I want to address a couple of gag questions because I think that I actually had very interesting answers for both of them. Our first gag question is by Nathan, and he asked, why aren't cloaks socially acceptable? Okay. And the answer to that I would give is it's a very similar reason to the trench coat. Clothing is meant to fall into those three pillars. It's the form and function of the clothing. The form and function of a cloak was to help keep like the dirt and debris and wind off of you as we traveled historically. Purpose of a trench coat, of course, is to keep you basically just completely dry underneath the trench coat in the rain. Okay. There is the how it makes you feel emotionally. Some people, of course, want to bring back capes, want to bring back cloaks, want to bring back all kinds of ancient clothing. I would rather like to try wearing an ascot at some point, you know? And then, of course, there is the social acceptance, which is where the question is based off of, is how do other people react to this? And the reason why I bring up trench coats while talking about cloaks is that we want to feel safe. We want to be able to look at someone else and not feel threatened by them. And in the same way that you look at somebody in a hoodie and you immediately kind of wonder, is this person a little bit more sketchy? Same thing, if you see somebody in a trench coat, you have no idea what they were hiding under the trench coat. If you see somebody wearing a cloak, they could be concealing something underneath that cloak. And it's my take, I didn't do research on this was the answer that popped in my head very, very instantaneously on this, is that is why cloaks fell out of style, was really an immediate safety thing, is being able to see that like I'm not concealing anything on my person, or if I am, it's very, very small, not convenient to reach behind a cloak and to reach into, you know. Okay, so that is that question. Our next gag question by Levi was, is it okay to bring back the monocle? And Levi was very surprised when I took this question seriously and was saying, hey, do you actually want this question asked? The monocle is another matter where you have an old-fashioned piece of clothing, an accessory in this case, that is no longer really necessary. The monocle got solidly replaced by glasses. The only place where we see what is a monocle is being asked in chat. That's a good question. A monocle is a small round piece of glass that would hang on a string that you would put up to the eye, and it's like a single eyeglass. Monocles, it's not it is still used in there's a similar item still used in the fashion industry to have a magnifying glass to look at jewelry. It's a jeweler's eyepiece. I'm trying to recall what the exact name is. I forget, unfortunately, at this time. The thing is that the monocle got solidly replaced by eyeglasses. As the eyeglasses addressed the problem better, they were more accurate. It made the monocle go the way of the dodo. And the same thing is quite frankly happening with glasses at this time, is that with the sheer prevalence of contacts is removing the need for glasses, and people are preferring that more pure, true to the form appearance. The only piece of, shall we say, the only piece of outdated clothing that really still exists. There's some points being brought up in chat about the fact that some people can't wear contacts. Glasses are always going to have their place in the world. They probably will, but the prevalence of contacts, the prevalence of LASIK and that sort of thing is such that it's very much heading in that direction, to where glasses definitely get commented on a little bit more negatively. It is heading in that direction. We'll see what happens in the future. That's where the trend is going. The only piece of outdated clothing that is really still used is the wristwatch. Is that some men, as a status symbol, as a wealth symbol, and some women prefer to still wear a wristwatch. Now, the fact is that every single one of us is sitting on a cell phone in our pocket that we can pull up for the time at any given moment that we need. Some prefer to still use the wristwatch as a sign of wealth, and it's still considered acceptable at this time. I think that it's going to continue to lose acceptability as time goes on. Personally, I would prefer to wear a bracelet. I think that's a good addition of wristwear. There's plenty of men's bracelets out there, plenty of options from leather bracelets to slightly more metal bracelets to more stylish, feminine bracelets of jewelry, like jewelry and gemstones and that sort of thing. There's different options, okay? There was also the question asked in chat, which may be our final question. If there is one more question to ask, if there are any more questions, please get them in chat now. Do I use hair products? And should you use hair products? Asked by Ben. Personally, I have not used hair products since middle school and high school. I used to wear my hair up and spiked a bit, and I would use gel for that. There's several different options. And it's worth keeping in mind for those of you who already use hair product to consider using it a different way. Your hair will look different if you gel it while it's dry versus if you gel it while it's wet and you just got out of the shower. It'll have a very different look. You can have the dry gel look, you can have the wet gel look. They're both very different. There is the option of wearing tack, which will give your hair a slightly greasier look and also keep it in place while still keeping it fairly natural with that kind of greased look. Hairspray, of course, will allow you to do crazy things with your hair and keep it almost perfectly in place and just smell in the way that it smells. Personally, I only use hair product on nights either where I specifically want to look my best, or I specifically want to do something with my hair, or when my hair is longer than it is now and I want to make sure that it stays in place. Okay. Trying to figure out where this question was originally asked. I'm just seeing it down on the spot. What is Game asks, what is my view on clip-on or zipper ties? Are they less formal than a tie that requires a tie knot? Yes, they are less formal. In the same way that a clip-on bow tie is less formal. I own one clip-on bow tie. It's because it's a mustache bow tie. It is not sitting at my desk. I thought it was. A clip-on tie. Learn how to tie a tie. Plain and simple. Learn how to tie a tie, wear a tie. Same thing with bow tie. Learn how to tie a bow tie, learn how to wear a bow tie. Make sure it's a Windsor knot for a necktie. If you want to expand to the Trinity or the Eldridge, those are both very popular knots as well. They are considered less formal. I was wearing an Eldridge earlier. The problem with a clip-on tie is that some of us can recognize them on site and people lose respect for you. Same thing with a regular necktie. The other thing that's really fun is if you're wearing a bow tie at the end of the day. Let me go ahead and we're gonna tie a bow tie here on the chat while I am sitting properly here. We're gonna see if I can do this while having my camera reversed so that you guys can see me naturally. So I'm gonna be doing this mostly by touch right now, real quick. Again, a bow tie can be worn as even or uneven as you want. And I'm spending the time right now to tie this solely because I think making the point I'm about to make is going to be very, very helpful. Now, again, we were talking about colors earlier. Yellows or golds match off of blues pretty well. I prefer silvers on blues, but that's of course personal taste. So think about a bow tie, and I can have this be, crooked one way, crooked the other. It doesn't matter. I can go ahead and look like this and have my bow tie just be relaxed. Bow ties are allowed to be crooked. Personally, I prefer them to be nice and even. I prefer them to be a little bit nicer done up than this. The thing about a bow tie is that if you're getting towards the end of an event, and if the event is officially like over, and you just want to show that you're relaxing, I can go ahead and do that. I can be dressed like this for the rest of the night. And all of a sudden, everybody in the room, somebody sees me do that, and one, they know that I know how to tie a bow tie. Two, they know that I know how to relax. Heck, if I really want, I can pop the top button as well. I think that's a bit much with a bow tie personally. I personally prefer to keep it buttoned. If you're going to do the bow tie look, you know, I can I can undo the knot of the bow tie, leave it like that. Could ditch my vest if I wanted to, maybe. You know, again, suddenly I'm looking casual, I'm looking relaxed, I'm looking like I just got off work, which is kind of the look that we're going for. All right. So clip-on ties, I have no respect for in general. That's a personal kind of take. Now, zipper ties are an interesting discussion, solely because I am a dancer. Okay, there are a lot of ballroom dancers because they have rhinestone ties, because they are so accustomed to wearing a Windsor knot and no other tie knots, and because so a Windsor knot is tied with the big end. Where's my handy tie? Okay, a Windsor is tied with the big end. I use the big end, I wrap it around, I'm wrapping it through, I'm doing other stuff. If I have rhinestones on the front of this guy, they're going to be snagging all over the place, they'll be popping off. Okay. Of course, Trinity, Eldridge, so on and so forth, tied with the little end. My big end just sits here, I'm going all around it, nothing to worry about. Zipper ties for ballroom dancers are meant to combat the fact that you don't want to ruin those rhinestones and you just want to be able to kind of put your outfit on and go. Zipper ties for non-dancers, for when it's not rhinestones, when it's not a fancy tie, are a little bit odd. You're of course stuck with a particular length of a zipper tie. It kind of needs to be custom done to you. Your tie, when it's tied, the bottom should fall at your belt, at the top of your belt, or just slightly into the buckle. Okay? If your necktie is falling with the end up here, it's not complete. It's meant to separate your torso the whole way down. It's meant to add verticality once again. Okay? Looks like we have a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap up because we're going towards the 2-hour mark. And the 2-hour mark is a bit much longer than I expected to be going tonight. Okay, so question from Mika. Is there any difference in formality with patterns on shoelaces? Most dress shoes are not going to have patterns, very obviously. You can get different lace colors in dress shoes, which of course black is most formal, and a brighter, like a bright blue or a bright red or bright yellow, orange, purple, whatever, less formal. For sneakers, for Vans, for and whatever other type of shoe you are wearing, you can have fun with shoelaces because you're already not wearing a formal shoe. But if you have a pattern on your shoelaces, they will be inherently less formal. If you are a particularly bright color, basically something that's not white or not a white or black color, you're going to be less formal. Typically, somebody who's just wearing their sneakers, wearing their Vans, wearing their Converse, wearing whatever else, not going to. You're already dressed informally anyway, typically, and so it's not really an issue. And the final question. Final question is by Cypress. What are some basic staples everyone should have for both genders? This is specifically a menswear night. But let's go ahead and I'll think about women as I'm answering this question for men. Okay. If you want to save money as a man, okay, you need to find what color looks best on you, 1 or 2 colors that look best on you, and you want to base your wardrobe around that color. Okay. As a man, if you just decide to own a white dress shirt, a few white dress shirts, everything else you own will always go with that. Doesn't matter what tie you put onto a white dress shirt. Doesn't matter. Anything goes with it. However, if you're focused on like all blue dress shirts, certain colors aren't going to work with blue. If I try wearing, well, most colors are going to work with blue. You end up running into the tints and shades at that point, which is a different issue that I didn't go into in coloring. What ends up happening is if I wore a purely blue tie that blended in with this shirt, it would not look as good. Okay, I don't have one handy. I'm not going to go pull one out of the closet right now. The reason why this particular tie here works so well is because it is predominantly black. Because it is black, it provides the contrast to the blue, and then the blue that's on the black then pops off of the black. I'm creating that contrast, okay? This purple here is kind of doing a little bit of the same thing. You have a much darker bit in here, but it's also predominantly purple. Now the purple is a bolder statement, even though it still goes with the blue. I could also do the same thing with a green on this blue, and it would have a similar effect to the purple. The closest I have to a yellow going with the blue is this gold here. And of course, you know, happens to work. Blue just happens to be a great color in that way. Other colors don't necessarily work as well. If somebody was to go with like all red dress shirts or all, heaven forbid, all orange dress shirts or all yellow dress shirts. Now at the same time, the orange, of course, pops off of this very, very strongly because the orange is the opposite color on the color wheel. Again, that is the painter's color wheel. And this will actually be a good example. I've got this guy right here. Okay, this guy right here, if this was all this color, it just kind of blends into the shirt and it's just kind of bland. It actually limits my ability to, wearing a blue shirt actually limits my ability to wear blue ties somewhat. Now, there are certainly still ties that work and stuff, but I could wear, because my eyes are a nice blue color, bluish greenish color, greenish in this light certainly, I can wear a white shirt or a black shirt or any other color shirt and then have a blue tie make my eyes pop. The problem is because I'm wearing this blue shirt already, the tie is not accenting my eyes nearly as nicely. So what clothing should every person own? Every man should figure out what their base color is. For dress clothes, you're generally going to want either a white shirt or a blue shirt. Any other color in dress shirt is frankly risky. And same thing in your basic casual wardrobe. You want to find one or two colors and then base everything else off of that, okay? If you're going to wear khakis, you can choose to wear black khakis to dress up every outfit you wear. If you're going to wear jeans, do wear dark blue jeans because dark blue jeans are going to look more formal inherently. Light blue jeans just frankly look bad, okay? Every person, regardless of gender, should own a necktie, at least one. Every person, I think, should know how to tie a tie, okay? For some of you as women, you're going to want to know how to tie a tie on someone else because there is nothing sexier than a person, man, woman, doesn't matter, who knows how to tie it. Like when somebody who doesn't know how to wear a tie, which is embarrassing, quite frankly, someone who doesn't know how to wear a tie, somebody else is able to walk up and tie a tie on that person's neck and have it fit perfectly right from the start. Nothing sexier. There's a few things sexier, but it's one of those skills that will suddenly earn you a ton of respect just for having. Okay. As a woman, the only way you pick up that skill probably is by owning a tie yourself and learning how to tie it, quite frankly. For pieces of clothing for everyone to own, it's a difficult thing to answer necessarily. To the person who feels attacked in chat right now, this is not meant to insult you. This is meant to be a fashion fundamentals webinar. It's meant to teach a little bit about everything, and it's meant for you to pick 1, 2, or 3 things to take wherever you are now. Wherever you are now, go a step higher. Bring up the bar. Okay? If you don't know how to tie a tie, learn how to tie a tie. It takes you an hour, or you try it once a day until you have it. It's like tying your shoes was as a kid. You had to eventually learn it, and now you know it. Then you never forget it. Unless you're me, at which point I was tying Trinities and Eldridge knots for so long that I eventually forgot how to tie a Windsor. And I was tying a Windsor just by knowing how knots work. And then I had to confirm to actually make sure it was still a Windsor and not something else. It was kind of funny. It takes like 10 minutes, what? Maybe it takes longer for some of you guys. If it does, then just good luck. We all take different paces to learn. We are all at different spots in our learning and in our fashion education. I apologize for not answering that last question as well as I might. What I'm going to say is create an interchangeable wardrobe. And what that means is that you figure out what color looks good on you by default, and you try to base everything off of that color and make sure everything matches in with everything else. The best feeling in the world for some men, especially men who don't want to have to think about their wardrobe, is being able to go and grab any shirt out of your closet, any pair of pants, any socks, any tie, and have them work together. Okay, if you make sure that your entire wardrobe works with every other part of your wardrobe, or works with like 80 to 90% of the rest of your wardrobe, you're going to save money. You're not going to have to think about your appearance as much. And you're not going to have to worry about those fancy guys who are talking about matching 3 or 4 different colors all together in an outfit. You know, matching the pocket square with a particular tie and a different colored shirt and a pattern on their blazer, and wearing maybe some sort of color in their hat, or in, I mean, I don't wear eyeshadow. Most men don't wear eyeshadow, but maybe matching your partner's eyeshadow or something crazy like that. Okay? Hopefully you all had a good time. Hopefully you all learned something. Take 1 to 3 things out of this. The VOD will still be available to go back and reference later. This will get put up on YouTube at some point in the near future. If you have learned something, if you have benefited from this, this is a pay what you want fashion webinar. The suggested donation is $10. Go ahead and contribute based on what you are able to do or the value that you got out of it. If you know someone who would be helped by having this information, please share it with them. Okay? There are links in the description for YouTube for how to contribute and that sort of thing. You can also watch me do other stuff on Twitch. I hope that this is popular enough to do more of in the future. And I hope you all have a good night. And thank you, Bed, for that cheer of 400 bits. I am going to end the stream now. And thank you all.